Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Friends play a very crucial role in our lives. I'm sure there's some times where you are stuck in a phenomena or you are stuck in a situation and you call your friend for advice. Have you ever finished the call and said, Alhamdulillah, I thank Allah that I have such a friend? And if you have bad friends, I'm sure when you're done, you think of the advice they've given you and wonder, what did they just tell me? Or maybe you're one of the bad friends too. If that, we can relate to that as adults, imagine children. The Prophet ﷺ said, Al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi faltandur man tukhalil. The religion of a person is in his friend. So look at whom you befriend. Be careful whom you befriend. When the Prophet ﷺ was saying this hadith, it was for adults, for everyone, for the whole of mankind. How can this be? What about children? How impactful are friends to children? From when children are in the ages of 4 or 2, from when they are born to around 6, the most impactful person in a child's life is the parents, and they are, to them, you are their best friend. When they reach 6, going onwards, they start forming close friendships and they start becoming influenced by other children when they start going to school. And when they become teenagers, that is when we are least impactful as parents to them. Then later when they're adults and they gain their senses, they come back to parents and make parents their friends. I'm sure a lot of people said, right now say my mother is my best friend or my dad is my best friend. With that given, we need to be careful whom we expose our children to. Talk to them, talk to your children and look at who their friends are whenever they bring friends over, or they are taking friends, they are going over to friends' houses, even relatives. Look at how their behavior changes when they hang out with different people. And you can model this by you yourself. It goes back to us having good friendships around you, because when you do that and when you have good friends, they are raising good children also, and you interact and your children also interact. You cannot avoid bad people or people with bad manners if they are relatives, but you have to minimize your interactions with them in order to avoid them negatively impacting your children. Another way which children are socially influenced in a negative way is through screen time and social media. A lot of studies show that these days children use social media and they use screen time more than ever before. From small children to adults, to teens, Small children as old as 6 months to 1 year are being exposed to screens, which is so detrimental. There are studies which show that doing this creates a thinning of the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for synthesizing the 5 senses. Our children, when they're small especially, they learn through the 5 senses by touching and seeing and hearing. That's why children would throw things down. They would knock things so that they can hear how it sounds. That's why small children from 1 to 4 want to touch everything, because they're learning through all their senses. When they touch, they feel the texture of something. When they throw something, they can hear the voice and the sound of something. When they smack something, they want to see what pressure to put so that they can feel hurt or not. So children are exploring the environment and learning through their senses. And when we expose them to prolonged times with screen, it impedes and it derails them from developing, from their brain developing. So this creates a very negative effect in their behavior. You can experience increased aggression in your child, and delay in even speaking. A study shows that children who are exposed to prolonged screen time have a delayed speech when they're speaking. Then they start speaking in British accent when they watch Peppa Pig. Have you ever experienced that? So this is not healthy at all. We should try. I know sometimes it's the easy way out because we are busy or we have jobs or we want to watch things in our phone, unfortunately, and our children are disturbing us. And the only easy way is to put them in front of the screen so that they can stay put as we do our work. But this is so damaging to their brains, especially when they're young. And if we can delay as much as possible, around 10 years ago, the studies were showing that it's not healthy for children under 4 years old to watch any kind of TV or screens or tablets, even if they're educational. And they were doing a study where they took toys from children and they would not cry, but when they put educational programs in their phones or tablets and they took them away, the children would become hysterical. So this shows, and some studies also say that the addiction to a child's brain on a phone or a screen is equal to cocaine addiction. So see how dangerous this can be. We cannot, of course, stay away from screens entirely, but if we can delay them and use them as minimally as possible, let's say 2 hours per day for 3, 4 going upwards, it would be we would be doing them a big favor because we would be helping them have healthy brain development. Similarly, in teens, a lot of interviews with school psychologists say that when they talk to teens, they spend up to 9 hours per day on their phones. And a lot of teens will use their phones between 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. I'm sure if you have a teen in your house, like nieces, nephews, or your son and daughters, you can find them on their phone for their 100th time at night, and you've told them to sleep. And they would stay on their phone for the whole night, so 12 to 5, and they wake up and they have to go to school the next day. And their concentration is low, and it can even affect their performance. So at the end of the day, it is something to avoid if you can. If you can delay as much as possible giving your child a phone or a tablet, please delay it. And if they're teens, if you can make them stay out of social media for as long as possible, do it, because there are so many studies again which show that teens who are in social media develop a negative self-image, negative self-body image, and they develop a low self-esteem, and they start developing anxieties and depression. I was looking at an interview of a child psychologist who was interviewing children, and they were saying that they experienced anxiety cases and depression cases 46% more when in 2012, when social media and smartphones started coming in, and he had never experienced such a case before. Similarly, we cannot do it if we ourselves are always on social media and scrolling all day and telling our children we can't use your phone. My kids ask me, how come, Mama, we have screen time and you're using your screen the whole day? Because they notice it. If it's possible for us to be present with our children and minimize using our phones and scrolling endlessly when they see us, that would be the best thing for them. We put it upside down, the phone, in our homes, and we interact with our children, and you put a scheduled time for yourself. Yes, children have come to ruin our lives, but this is what we have to do, and it's good for us if we cut down on our social media, starting with me, inshallah. So inshallah, these things, bad friends and social media and screen time, influence our children largely. There is so much that our children are learning outside of what we teach them. Imagine having somebody come into your house and give your children bad ideologies. You would chase them away right then and then. But this is what the screens are doing to our children. Sometimes you can put an innocent program on YouTube for your child, and you go after 5 minutes and you find an entirely, because of algorithms, an entirely different program or video which is so inappropriate for your child, and the children are watching. Also, when they are watching, if you can monitor what they are watching and sit down with them, that would be awesome. If you can't, make sure they're watching appropriate and age-appropriate programs for them. All the programs that are coming up now have the LGBTQ agenda being pushed on them. In order to get ahead of it also, let's talk to our children about the LGBTQ agenda. Let's not shy away from it, because if we do not talk to them, the media, social media, movies, series, YouTube videos. I heard that even Cocomelon has I saw a song on Cocomelon that has introduced a gay couple in it, and they were raising a gender-free child who could wear, he was a boy but he could wear dresses, and they were encouraging him on it. I don't know if you saw it in social media being passed around. So if you do not speak to them about these things, the world is teaching them about it. They would rather get a healthy and Islamic perspective on it from you than them being taught by in all the wrong places. So parents, let's get ahead of this game. Let's choose good friends for us. Let's watch what we watch ourselves before we even advise our children. Let's be careful on which pages we follow. Sometimes you'd see a pious brother on Facebook or a pious sister in Instagram, then you go to a page accidentally and you see Fulani follows this page, and you wonder what are they doing here, because that page is so inappropriate. So let's be careful on what we watch on Instagram, because when you scroll, a child can pass in front of you and they're seeing what you're seeing, and if it's appropriate, you're teaching them that is okay. Let's be careful on what we watch, what we consume, because it will eventually seep into our children, and they will watch what we are watching. We should be role models again from our last episode. And let's choose good friends and pray for our children. And if we are working hard in all of this, we have become connected to them. We are seeking knowledge and we're making dua. Allah, bi'idhnillah, will guide them towards being strong individuals who will choose good friends, and they will know rights from wrong. And it's never too late. If whatever you're doing is wrong, you can change now, right now. You can wake up today and start correcting all the wrong slowly and eventually. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't belong to only pious people. Here I am with a niqab telling you, ask Allah, make dua. Allah belongs to all of us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears all of us, no matter what we've done. So may Allah make it easy for us and make us pious parents for our children, and make us lead our children by example and guide them to the right path. Ameen.